I think there's over 30 million NGOs and all put their hands out there in India. It's an incredible amount of non-governmental organizations making sure that India enters the world in the same socialist, banking, fascist system, because there's no difference, as far as I'm concerned, between socialism and fascism. It's all run by the same people as the rest of the world, so as they can take the rightful place as utterly poor, in-debt, broken people. So that's how the world is really run, by money. And of course, the incredible interest rates on them is nothing new. It's been done all over the world, down through the ages, right up to the present time. And what can you do? They try and tell these people, oh, you'll make it in business, you'll be somebody. It's like these characters who apply to become a star, you know. You'll be somebody. And they go for the bait. Next thing you know, they're selling their shirts and their children and everything else. Literally. That's what they do at the top, because there is nothing to do. There's no morality whatsoever, as you know, morality when it comes to the bankers and money lending. There's nothing, there's no poor or empathy or compassion. It doesn't exist. It's never existed in that particular world of banking. Never existed. Now, the cons too that the CFR, Royal Institute of International Affairs, came up with was to unify different parts of the globe. I mentioned last night where they're still working on the unification of the Americas, mainly through academia, who will train the management for the next generation. That's why they use academia, to make sure they get the right robots who are properly brainwashed, who come out well funded, mind you, and well paid, to then exploit those beneath them and push them into the same system. They can go on for generations till they get what they want. But they did the same thing in Europe too. I remember they're following what used to be called the Communist Manifesto, and Karl Marx was a hack journalist that was failed. He was kicked out of Germany. And of course, the Rothschilds put him up in Britain, and he put out his Communist Manifesto. His name didn't even appear on it at first. And then, of course, coincidentally, Darwin came along with his idea that we were just basically apes, and some better apes than others. And Karl Marx wanted to dedicate, I think it was his second or third edition, to Darwin. And for what he said was validating the whole theory of Marxism being a science, you see. Under the Marxist idea, which was dreamed up by bankers, which is a great con, of course, you're supposed to go through a stage of industry and capitalism, and then nationalism, and then you get into a stage of post-capitalism and post-nationalism, and then internationalism, with the same bankers running the whole show. But anyway, they didn't bother to push that part too much with the left wing. But that's how it really works. The dialectic process must have an enemy, and people profit from the dialectic. The East and the West made fortunes. The elite made fortunes of making missiles, a new one every month almost. They cost billions of dollars. War is great for business, and you've got to have an enemy. Back with more after this break.
You're listening to the Republic Broadcasting Network, because you can handle the truth.
Hi folks, this is Cutting Through the Matrix, talking about the dialectic really that's always been used by the big boys at the top, the big banking boys. I'm talking about international generations of the same families who've archives. They have archives of how to control nations, how to build nations, how to get them to war, how to profit from wars, and so on, and to make sure that their own progeny keep going down through the generations forever and ever. And they always give you these utopias to go and fight for, you see. There's always going to be a utopia just around the corner if you just go off and fight for this last war and stuff like that. And Karl Marx himself, of course, wanted a united Europe to be followed by united Americas, and then a Pacific Rim region that would eventually be formed, which it has been formed by the same people, by the way, by the Council on Foreign Relations and Royal Institute of International Affairs, which is the big daddy of them all. And when they sold, or tried to sell this European Union in Britain and elsewhere, nobody wanted it. The public, is this launched upon the public, a massive advertising campaign, and all the politicians who were well paid off, of course, came out and says, well, if we don't join it, we'll be left behind. Left behind. It's going to benefit everyone, you see. I guess they don't look upon the people as being human because they must mean their own particular crew. But it says,